I'm waiting for the Super Ninja Dragon Warrior to come into my garden. He uses 2.4 million year old snail fossils as plant food.
At the time of the early Pliocene, this area didn't have the Sierra Nevada in the way. And so those mountains make a rain shadow that makes Nevada the driest state. It's drier than Arizona. We only get about 8 inches of rain a year here. Now, at that time, it probably got at least 24 inches or so, and it was much more lush. And so there was soil and timber and grasslands, and so that the streams that were inputting into this lake were very pure water sources. Then when they got here, the climate was such that it was an excellent source of algal mat ecosystem. And as the algal mats became the source for the snail shells and the bivalves basically kept growing more shells, and every time the snail would die, it would drop to the bottom of the lake, and it made basically a snail shell lens. And so this lens is about 3/4 of a mile wide and about a mile long, and it's at least 64 feet deep because we've drilled 64-foot holes here down. We're constrained to about 300,000 years of a lake bed that was stable and producing algal mat ecosystems that allowed the snail shells to develop. And at some point, the snail shells were breaking down into the point where they became a micrite, which is a very consolidated calcium carbonate. But there was the only thing that was added to that was iron and some other essential micronutrients that were in the lake bed at the time. But it's all high quality limestone that's kind of a brownish limestone, and it's high in calcium oxide, and that's what makes this deposit different. It's going to crush up this rock, and it's a pure rock. The analysis shows between about 96%, 83 to 96% calcium carbonate, but it has some really important micronutrients that are also good that promoted the growth of these snail shells, and it's still incorporated in the rock. And this rock hasn't changed. The unique geologic history is the reason that this is a unique deposit in western North America. There are only several other deposits that are similar to this, but this is the best one. One of the ways that we test it in the field is, does it ring? And this rock is pure limestone. There's no other way to have it ring like that other than this is a recrystallized snail shells. Another way that I can test it is I'll put some calcium carbonate on the rock itself, and it bubbles up, and that's the release of calcium of carbon dioxide and releasing pure calcium in the rock itself. These hill cliffs and historic old Lake Lahontan beds are not going to change. The Lake Lahontan was over the top of this, and the idea is that you leave the property in as good a shape as you found it. And so all that will happen is a concurrent reclamation where you'll bring your soil media back, and basically it's going to look slightly lower to the right, but the view shed will be retained.
For a limited time, Super Ninja Dragon Warrior is sending out free 3 plant samples. Come get some right now. Super Ninja Dragon Warrior, Plant Food Express.